Well, we did say that we're going to be joined by somebody from the Nigerian, not the national, Nigerian Democratic Congress, the NDC. And joining us now, studios this morning, is Honorable Benjamin Oyamedan, who is an aspirant to the House of Representatives from Eastern Northeast, Eastern Southeast Federal Constituency. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Good morning, madam. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so here we are, looking towards the primaries that your party is conducting, and it does appear that they're going to be going down the route of consensus. Is this something that sits down well with you?
I believe NDC officials, the national chairman, and other leaders, senators, DC, Excellency, former governor of Bayelsa State, they know what is going to be the best for the party. As you know, we are the new bride in town, and they are trying everything possible best to make sure they put a good mechanism in place to make sure that in subsequent election, they will know how to go about it. The process is tedious, but they are giving all their best to make sure that they feed in good candidates that will be able to win the election for them.
Can I ask you why you've decided to pitch tent with a party that is relatively new?
Good question. NDC is viable, not just viable, and it's a party that we all see apart from the ruling party that doesn't have any litigation at the moment. And we following our leader, Peter Obi and His Excellency Engineer Kwakwanso, from the last election. I believe politics is all about loyalty, and we just have to follow him down to wherever he goes.
So you are an obedient?
100%.
Not a member of the Labour Party?
I'm not a member of the Labour Party.
You never joined the Labour Party?
I joined the Labour Party. I left when Peter Obi, after the general election, and I moved down to PDP, back to PDP.
But now you've left PDP?
Yeah, I left PDP and I returned back. I went to NDC.
And now you're with NDC?
Exactly.
Some people do say you're just being an opportunist. How would you respond to that? Because you've just been leaving, you've left the Labour Party, you went back to PDP, now you're with NDC. Is this about furthering your own ambition? Or this is really about something that you believe in?
It's something that I believe in. I would like to throw more light into that. We are Nigerians. And you shouldn't say that is not an opportunity. Let us be honest about it. And nobody wants to stay in the room that is unhealthy. And we all pray that if Labour Party walked out, we'll have actually stayed in the Labour Party. I've been in PDP since 2003. And since that time, and when Peter Obi decided to run for presidency, we all moved down to Labour Party for that simple reason.
Hold on, you've been in PDP since 2003?
2003.
That is over 20 years ago.
Yeah, when I was in secondary school.
You joined the political party in secondary school?
When I was in secondary school, I was already working for PDP. Yeah.
Were you 18?
Come on, I was already 18 then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so if you joined the PDP as far back as 2003, I mean, we're just speaking with a guest now who said that oftentimes when you have to make appeals, it's not just to aspirants, you also have to appeal to followers because it's very difficult for them to change their party just like that, to change their loyalty just like that. So how was it easy for you to just change your loyalty in the manner that you have done?
I was molded in a society where you see things and said, this is the right thing to do. Politics is not just about party anymore. There are good people in APC. There are good people in ADC. There are also good people in NDC. It depends on what you think, what this person is bringing to the table. What can he do? What is his antecedent? For example, some of us left PDP and joined Peter Obi in Labour Party because we know his political mantra and what the message he was preaching. So let me tell you why I went back to PDP after the general election. I went back to PDP because Edo election was an off-cycle election where I campaigned for my very dear brother, Dr. Aso of the PDP. Because at that particular time, we, the Asians, feel that we were marginalized, which was true. And we have two candidates. PDP gave us a ticket to Aswell, who is from Ubiaja, Eastern Southeast. And APC gave a ticket to Edo South person. Along the line, they changed the ticket and gave it to Edo Central because they know where the odd was going. So when you look at this, you will not begin to ask, should I remain in PDP? If I swear Ighodalo or I see somebody who was better than him in another party, I will have quickly joined force with that person and make sure that person wins the election. That's what matters. It doesn't mean what the party says, because it's not party that is ruling or making policies. It's that are the people that you elected into position, that you elected through a political party that went to House of Assembly, National Assembly, or maybe Senate, or even presidency that made this policy that govern this country. So we shouldn't just be looking at party alone to say they are APC, they are PDP, they are all the same. I understand, but there are people who are there. The party officials does not have any influence of any policies or bills be passed in the National Assembly.
Which is actually an oddity, which is an aberration, because that's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
It should be, right now, we're in a situation where the tail is wagging the dog.
I understand.
The dog ought to wag the tail. The political parties are supposed to, especially the ones that win office, and that's why parties want to be in majority.
Exactly.
They are the ones who are supposed to tell the government,
Yeah.
you know, what it is that they have campaigned to the people
Exactly.
for, and you know, and the government of the day now has duty to carry that out.
Yeah.
But clearly, that's not how it works.
I understand.
But let me come back to your situation in Edo State. So you left to support Mr. Aswe Ighodalo, assuming he had
Full
won.
chest.
Just say it. Assuming he had won and was governor today in Edo State, would you have left the PDP?
At the moment, PDP has not feed a candidate for us to have emulated. That we say, okay, this person is so and so.
That is at the moment. I'm
That is at the
saying,
moment.
assuming he had won. I'm just painting a
I have
picture.
a leader before my dear brother, Dr. Aswe Ighodalo of the PDP. As long as Peter Obi was on the ballot, wherever Peter Obi goes, I will have also gone and vote for him. Just like what we did in Edo State. You remember the former governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, His Excellency. He was the one that made the Obedient movement known when he came to national TV and said, Obedient is a household name in Edo State. We actually look at it, Edo State is the headquarters of Obedient movement. That is where he actually originated. That's where he started from. So, during the election, nobody, you know, Edo people, we are one of the most electorally educated in Edo State, in the whole country. If in statistics, we are very, very educated. There is no politician that can tell us this is how it's supposed to be. Because we always believe this is equity, fairness, and justice. So we know where the cars and the odds go, they will follow it. We don't want you to be angry, we don't want you to be angry, but when it comes to the things of making decisions, politicians will always say this is our interest. But we'll tell them, giving you this interest will not favor the people of this particular region. So that is what that is what is currently happening, and it's happening, and we continue to maintain that structure. So the political structure in Edo State is slightly different. I will have also gone to tell the governor of Edo State, say, I supported you, and I did this for a reason. Please permit me to support whoever I want to support. But knowing him and know who he is, Dr. Aswe Ighodalo, he's somebody who understands. He will say, okay, as long as he's not an anti-party thing, I can equally go and do my own thing. Just like what Obaseki did in Edo State. He never asked PDP people to say you must vote for a PDP candidate. Even at that time, PDP wasn't in disarray. Because His Excellency, the current Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Yesini Winge, was the one that all of us were also clamoring for to become the presidential candidate, who worked for the party then. He worked for the party and labored for the party, held the party strong and gave it a life, sponsored governors to win election, senators to win election. But His Excellency Alhaji Atiku came from somewhere and just want to take over the party, and everywhere, and the delegate at the primary were dollarized. So he got angry, and all of us also got angry. You can see where the chain of command is going. So it doesn't mean who actually owns the party, who is there, but it is the person, the people, or the party are presenting. If a party presents a candidate that we members cannot defend, we'll find our different path. It's not a marriage that we cannot divorce. We can divorce ourselves at any time.
So it's okay.
Catholic marriage.
No, not in our church, no.
It is better to divorce a marriage that is toxic than to stay in a marriage and become an obituary. You understand?
Yes. Okay. All right. So let's talk about. And I do have to give you some nuance.
Yeah.
The reason why we're asking all of these questions about these, it's a lot of movement for a young politician.
You're very correct.
It's because we're beginning to see a culture in Nigeria where there is no staying power. Where we have politicians who are just jumping from one place to the other, achieving whatever political aims that they have, and without a care as to the structures. And political parties are important.
Yeah, very, very important.
And ideologies of political parties they're very serious things. We're trying to build our country.
to one where we can trust our institutions.
Yeah.
So when we see a culture of people who are moving, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
This happened when Peter Obi was in the
in
Labour Party.
Yeah.
We saw everyone riding on the coattails of
Exactly.
that. And a lot of them came into office.
Yeah. And they jumped the ship.
And all of them, almost all of them jumped
the ship. Yeah.
And now look at the problem with the Labour Party, which means that that party itself now has issues.
Yeah.
Then we now see it happening with other political parties as well.
Yeah.
So we're afraid as Nigerians, as patriotic Nigerians, that we are destroying political parties with this behavior.
Yeah.
How can the Nigerian people from Esan Northeast and Esan Southeast, how can they trust you?
That's the most important thing. And I like that question. You know, politics is about knowing and seeing other people's antecedents and what they have done before. One thing we have in this country that is becoming common, that is relating to what you're saying right now, that Nigerians are beginning to fed up, is that there are policies and there are rules that need to be made. I have a 6-point agenda. On that list, on the first on my list, is Child Protections Bill. And I have a reason why I put it there. I will explain later when we come to that. The second one on that list is...
No, we'll get to your agenda.
I'm talking about that. Yeah.
Of moving from party to party
is making a law. We need the National Assembly need to make a law that will restrict we politicians. That will restrict we politicians not to jump ship when you are already in an office. Until that is done, we can't do anything about it. Because when you, let me put it this way, if you watch Criminal Minds, they will bring up the constitution of that country. The criminal law, they'll bring it down and begin to say, where are the loopholes? With that loopholes, they find a way to commit a crime, and they even have lawyers that will tell them, do this and do this, I will be able to bring you out. You understand what I'm saying? That's how politics is. Until we sit down in our National Assembly to say, we are going to make this law so that if a House of Assembly member or a House of Rep member or a senator who was elected in his or her constituency or in his or her senatorial zone come into the red chamber or the green chamber, you are not allowed to jump ship while you are in office. Let me make an example. I like what APC did. They are not my favorite party. I like what they did right now. They show the spirit of loyalty to party. When most of them in Labour Party jumped the ship and went back to APC, they were all thinking that is just going to be the end of it. But they all went there, not knowing that the people have been in the APC who have been working to save the party. They pet them. You know when you pet a child to school, they pet them to attend the primaries, attend the screening. Now they cannot go to another political party and contest. Now, if you look at it, permit me to use that word, they are at the moment for the next 4 years relegated from politics. That is why it's good for a politician to have a plenty office. You must have a profession. You must have a business that gives you money, not just depending on what you're going to earn in politics. And that still comes down to the policies and the bills that we, the National Assembly members, by the grace of God in the NDC, that we need to push. That every person representing the constituency, you have to represent that constituency for that 4 years or 5 years before jumping the ship, before joining another political party. If we're able to do that, you see all this political tussle, people jumping ship, disobeying the rule of law, that will automatically stop.
It's going to be a difficult one because people have the right to assembly. And they can do whatever they want to do.
I understand.
But let's get to your agenda. I'm looking at 6 of them. Child support and protection, effective representation, and voice of the people.
Very, very quick.
Oversight and accountability of government institutions.
100%.
Vocal participation in national budget process, peace building and industrial harmony, and active committee engagement and legislative work. Laudable.
Thank you.
And I saw you actually took your time to break down what each of those things mean.
It's something that have been on my file.
So let's talk practical here. What is the major need of the people of Esan North?
Esan Northeast.
I have to get this thing right. Esan Northeast and Esan Southeast.
Esan Southeast.
Yes. What would you say is the biggest problem? And what would your representation sort in that area?
At this very moment, I must tell you, the governor is not my favorite person, but at the moment he's doing a lot in those states.
He's from your constituency as well.
He's from my constituency, from Eagle, he's from Esan Central. He's doing a lot when it comes to road infrastructure and the rest of it. The last time I traveled, the last month, I saw a lot of things. But there are children on the street that we need to remove. insecurity is growing in Nigeria. When you look at the foundation that gave birth to that insecurity that is growing in Nigeria, it's because our children have been left alone to survive. They've been left alone to survive in the sense that if you don't have a father, if you don't have a mother, you have to feed for yourself. I was molded at school in an environment in Germany, molded in a society where the child becomes so important that even when it's not your own child, you have to respect that person. You have to respect that child. Give the moral support and anything support that you can give for that child to grow. For example, removing the children that are on the street in Eastern South and Eastern Northeast, it is very easy to do. We are not that much. We are just like two local governments when it comes to House of Rep issue and all that. Ubiaja and Uromi. And we have 21 wards. Based on my statistics, we have nothing less than 20-something thousand children that are out of school. Not just out of school. They are not well funded. Most of the schools are so dilapidated that you go to the school today, you keep going to ask yourself, is it where our children are learning? And when you have a person...
How is it? I'm just a little curious. Sorry to interrupt you. How is it that how many governments, consecutive governments, I mean, we had that of Adams Oshomole, he had a program on education, you had Obaseki, who said he had Edo Best, teachers were all hailing that program, and we always see that the schools are properly built. And I'm wondering, how many schools are there possibly in Edo State that after every administration,
there's some education drive?
You're still saying dilapidated schools.
Exactly.
How is it that is happening in Edo State? Is it film trick that we're saying, or what exactly is happening
What
there?
they are giving is what is called cosmetic solution.
Cosmetic?
Cosmetic solution. We need to find a basic solution that will first of all build a foundation and will continue to maintain it. Like you earlier said, Oshomole came after the era, or rather the regime of, or rather the day of Lucky Benedion. Edo State was an eyesore. Edo State was an eyesore. Oshomole came and did a few jobs. I must tell you the truth. He didn't work that much in Edo Central. He didn't work that much. But he did some few jobs. He was able to give Edo State the limelight because the resources was limited. We understand that. Obaseki came. Obaseki brought the Edo Best and all that. Obaseki invested on teachers in Edo State. When you go to Edo State today, teachers will be able, you see that confidence in them. They will be able to demonstrate that confidence that I am well trained. I came into the system with the right process. That's what matters. Training and retraining program for our teachers. But at this very moment, as I speak, when I say it's a cosmetic solution to our problem in Edo State, is that a situation where the children learning center are not well furnished according to the international standard, it is worrisome.
So what do you, as a House of Reps member, should you win, intend to do about that? Because don't forget, you're only there to make laws. So what laws do you hope you can make that will affect the state of schools within your constituency?
That is where you have the Child Protection Bill. The Child Protection Bill is not just about supporting children or family with financial support monthly and all that.
You've taken a look, sorry to interrupt you, you've taken a look at the Child Rights Act.
I saw it.
Before you came up with the family. So what's the major difference?
The major difference is that
you're advocating?
The major difference is that in that Child Rights Act, there is no financial support for the children, child born. And at the same time, there is no special bill protecting children from doing hard labor. If it does, it's not totally spelled out. So in the next bill that we are going to push, every child under the age of 12 should be able to decide, this is what I want to do. I want to go to school. I want to learn the technical. I want to use Germany as for example. Germany is a country that have a society, different society. If a child is born today, automatically that child has what is called social security number. That social security number, that child become all his or her benefit monthly. It might not be enough for the child or for the parents to actually cater for that child. That is what they call it kindergarten. You see, parents come together, they can try to have 3 or 4 children and because they can earn more money. But it supports and encourages parents to take care of their children. Because if you do not take care of your children, government will cease giving you that financial support. Even while the house you are living, as a mother, as a father, you also have what is called incentive, like a reduction of your houseware, things like that. So we need to bring all those things into the bill. Because in Edo State...
If that is what you really seek for the people of Edo State, why are you not running the local election in Edo State?
Because
some people will say...
Not just only for Edo State entirely. When you read down there a little bit, you will discover that I said the entire country.
Why don't you do the state assembly?
Yeah, laws are made in state assembly for a different reason. The problem the children are facing, I'm using the children in my constituency as a point of contact because that is where I come from. The children in Nigeria, the Nigerian children who are under the 18 years old need to be taken care of. For example, what is happening in the north? If they are well educated, well informed, have all the right information, have all the right skills to learn, have all the right tools to learn something. Even when you cannot go to school and do theory and the rest of it.
You're not answering our question.
Yeah.
If it's a local issue, why aren't
it's not just a local issue. It's a national issue.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
If you're looking at your community and you're very passionate about the young people in your community, why don't you run at the state assembly and then focus on your community and see how you can bring your children out instead of going the route that you're taking right now?
I understand that part clearly. There are some things you say this is no longer a local issue. That's why I said it's a national issue. In Edo State, we have insecurity problem. We have herdsmen, we have people kidnapping and the rest of it. And when most of these people are arrested, they are not just our locals. They are coming from another region. That's why we always say the problem of insecurity in the country is something of us have to come together and address it. So, if we're able to address the issue of the children not being in school, if we're able to address the issue of children being taken care of from the tender age, we will not have more children being coerced, being forced to take arms and join Boko Haram or join every other terrorist organization just for 100,000 to go and carry out bombing. You know what I'm saying? So that is the reason why we need to make a law to make sure every children in this country is protected. And that's what we need to talk about is that every child needs to be digitally documented in this country for us to know how many are we in this country.
I agree completely with you, and I'm sure Kayla agrees as well. But you have to scale the primaries first if all of these things.
Definitely.
Will there be primaries? NDC.
At the moment, I believe there is going to be primaries, but we have not received any circular after the screening, and the promise that they're still going to vet every document submitted and every individual coming because they want to win an election. They don't want to feed in candidates that doesn't have credibility to win an election, don't have any credibility at the grassroots level.
So that will happen this week?
Hopefully. Today is Monday. We hope there's going to be a new circular coming up from the NDC.
All right, Honorable Benjamin, we wish you the very best as you proceed and move forward in your career. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning on Sunrise Daily. Honorable Benjamin Oyadmendan, yes, is an aspirant on the platform of the Nigerian Democratic Congress for the House of Representatives for Eastern Northeast and Eastern Southeast Federal Constituency. Well, thank you once more.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's where we draw the curtains on Monday's edition of Sunrise Daily. We're hoping that you'll be with us throughout this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maokbe Ogun Yusuf.
We've got business at the top of the hour. I'm Kayla Magwa. Enjoy the rest of your day.